Pulling a good key is easy if you follow a couple of basic principles during production. In this video, we'll show you how to set up for a successful green screen shoot. Even lighting on your green screen and adequate separation between your subject and the background are essential when working with green screen. Pay attention to these two factors during setup, and post-production could be as simple as applying the right filter. Ignore them and you might be getting some unplanned practice with the RotoBrush. Your first priority will be the green screen itself. In Hollywood, filmmakers often use cyclorama or cyc walls. These usually take up the space of an entire room and are designed with rounded corners to minimize shadows and color variances. This allows for wider shots that capture your subject's whole body, but most of us don't have an entire room dedicated to chroma keying. If that's the case, you can purchase smaller portable green screens designed for video production. Some green screen kits come with their own stands, but you can also use clamps and C-stands. Alternatively, green fabric, poster board, or any other green surface placed behind your subject can serve as a green screen in a pinch. Whatever you use, it will need to have a uniform color without bends or wrinkles, so make sure your fabric is pulled tight for best results. You'll also want something with a non-reflective finish. Any variations in your background color will make it more difficult to key out in post-production. Once you have your screen set up, it's time to break out your camera. The type of camera you use doesn't matter too much. Most modern cameras, including smartphones, should produce keyable footage. However, if you have a camera that offers exposure assist tools, these may come in handy later as you get your lighting set up. You'll also need a tripod, since any camera movement will make it more difficult to pull a good key. Shots with too much movement may require the use of a tracking mask to clean up your key, making post-production much more complicated. We recommend that you save camera movements for after you have a bit of green screen experience. At the very least, test keying any planned camera movements before serious production begins. Once your camera is locked down on a tripod, position it a good distance away from your screen. You want to have enough room for your subject to stand a few feet in front of the screen, while still leaving room for you to frame up your shot as you would like. The exact distance between the camera and screen will depend on your focal length and desired shot, but in general, 8 to 10 feet is a good goal. Next, frame your shot so that your green screen is centered. Even if you plan for your subject to be off-center in the final composite, centering your subject on the screen gives them maximum room to move and also gives you more room to apply a matte if needed in post. The green screen effect will work better if the subject is farther away from the screen. You'll want to position your subject as far away from the screen as is practical, with a minimum distance of about 3 to 4 feet. Keeping a good distance between subject and screen will prevent green spill from making it onto your subject, and at the same time prevent your subject from casting shadows onto the screen. Remember, any variation in screen color will make pulling the final key more difficult. If you notice any green spilling onto your subject or shadows on your screen, try moving your subject forward even more if possible. Much of your success in chroma keying will come from careful and deliberate lighting. After you have your green screen and camera set up with enough space in between for your subject, it's time to light. Start by lighting your screen with the subject out of the way. You're going for the most even lighting you can possibly get. The most common setup uses 2 soft lights, one on either side of the screen, directed towards the screen at about a 45-degree angle. If your camera offers any exposure assist tools, now's the time to use them. The zebra stripes overlay can be especially useful in identifying hotspots. Adjust your lighting to minimize hotspots and shadows. The final step is to light your subject. Basic 3-point lighting is always a good starting point. Start with a key light on one side, then add a fill light to compensate for any distracting shadows left by the key light. Finally, add your backlight. The backlight is especially important for chroma keying since it helps further separate the subject from the background and also reduces the chance of spill. You'll want the lighting on your subject to be about a stop brighter than the lighting on the green screen, so that the green screen ends up being slightly underexposed. This creates even more separation between your subject and the background. A shallow depth of field also provides separation by keeping the background soft while your subject is in focus. Remember, one of your main objectives during setup is to keep the subject and the screen as independent as possible. And with that, your green screen setup is complete and you're ready to start shooting. I'm Nicole from Videomaker. Thanks for watching.